listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. It's about time that we invest more in our financial literacy and work towards building generational wealth. If you think you're ready to do the same, then you've come to the right place. Alex, Marlon, y'all ready? Let's get this bread.
What's good, everybody? It's Alex Kamunya here. We are back with episode 83 of the Money Monopolizers podcast, and I'm here with my co-host Marlon Walls. Marlon, how you doing today? On April 30th.
Right, doing good, man. Like, I'm in a good spot. I think I've said that before, but I'm in a good space right now when it comes to a lot of things going on. So I'm thinking like the rental car business. We actually just got our sixth vehicle, and I love because I put together a whole spreadsheet to show like our progress and how we've been progressing through each month. And I look back at like 2020, we only had one car for that whole year, and we were just getting like a couple hundreds in total. But now when we really get intentional about it, now we start seeing every month increase. And I'm talking about like 1,000 a month. That's of increase from one month to the other. So I love the progression that we're going with, and I think it's about to really start seeing that exponential growth very soon. So I love the potential of like where we're going with it. But outside of that, I'm super excited for this house more than anything, because I've waited for that for 10 months now. So it's about time that we move on to the next stage, and I'm excited for it, like the potential that I have for that too, because I think that triplex model that I was talking about last week, it's even easier than what I had envisioned before, because literally all I do is like wall off the main house from the upstairs, and you can like put on another wall to the back house entrance, and like there's a door that leads right to the stairs, and I can just, so it's not, you don't have to put in a new staircase or nothing. So it's going to become a 3-unit for sure.
That's dope, man. Definitely. See, I'll be trying to do that as soon as I could. Definitely to increase the rental, or gross potential rent, as you would call it.
Yes, sir. How about you, bro?
That's good. I'm doing good. I think it's like I said, it's the last day of the month, and this year is really going by pretty fast. It feels like it's already going to be May, and that's just like crazy, because 2021 time is not slowing down for no one. I mean, we're almost halfway through the year, and it's just crazy to think about, because even especially when you have a business too, and seeing your business progress like you were talking about. It's funny too, because you talk about you getting your sixth car. I just hired my sixth cleaner. Nice. So that is in the cleaning business, and she should be starting tomorrow. So April was another great month, the best month. Every month I should be saying that, hopefully. So you did 25K in revenue, and I'm super ecstatic about that. So next month the goal is 30, and to scale 5K every month. That's pretty much what I'm trying to do.
Exponential growth is something serious, man.
Yeah, man.
I think you did your Kobe year well, because I just that, because I know back last year around this time, this is when we only 30 days away from your next birthday. So it's like, what's it called? Oh, because this time last year you were saying that like, oh man, it's Kobe, I'm about to really get focused in. I think you started pretty well overall.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. It was definitely one for the books. That's 2020, and there's still a lot of stuff that's happened that I haven't even talked about and stuff. So hopefully in the future I'll get to kind of be a little more expressive on some things. I know that sounds really discreet, but it is what it is. But the way the stories unfolded, man, is just like it's a book. It's really like a book.
No, seriously though.
So that's why I love my life so much. I just feel so grateful, so blessed, man, by God, to be able to just to live the life I live, and to be able to just do this at such a young age, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that we were able to come into this awareness at a young age. And I don't say that to say like, oh, if you don't do it at a young age you can't, but it's just the younger you are, man, the better. It's a fact of the matter. Like, that's the reality of the matter. Like, the younger you can get started on pursuing financial freedom, the better you're gonna be. Because I just think about, man, in 10 years, bro, we're gonna be 35. I mean, it's like, imagine where you're gonna be in 10 years. I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day, and like, yo, you in your mid-20s, and like imagine where you're gonna be in 10 years, just if you continue on the same. Actually, it was on the dude that we was talking to yesterday
Yep.
on a
Yeah.
podcast interview that we did. He was mentioning that to us too, because a lot of older folks, they feel like um a lot of older folks feel like they can't do stuff, or they see it as like it's unattainable. Younger people too, but older folks as well, just based off of they got kids and family, and like, oh, I
The
can't do
fact
that.
it's too late.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, it, that's why it's important. That's why I think age and like doing stuff at a young age is like a badge of honor, because you can besides the fact what you're doing for your life, you can show people like, look, you can do this at whatever age. You can. It doesn't matter, if you're young, if you're old, whatever. I personally get inspired by people that are younger than me that are doing stuff. I get motivated because I feel like I ain't doing enough. Like when I see a 21-year-old that's making more money than me, look, I'm competitive. So I'm like, yo, I need to do more. So it's a healthy competition, but I'm super competitive. I just can't help that. Um, so, but I think that's kind of a good segue into the episode that we had today. Definitely, because we had Mr. 30 before 30 himself, Eugene Marshall, from Chicago, Illinois, and he is killing it, man. 26-year-old, and he has 30 rental units at age 26, and it's just, man, his story was incredible. Just the way he got into real estate. I mean, his welcoming into real estate was rough. It was definitely, a lot of people would have quit. A lot of people would have definitely, gave up. But he had mentors around him, people around him that helped him keep pushing. And now he's just on a train now. It's a freight train now, pretty much. So I'm excited to kind of see where he goes from now. He mentioned he's trying to, his next goal is to get $1 million liquid and then scale to 5,000 units. But it's just, I mean, 26 years old and he's killing it, man. 30 units, and he started real estate about the same time we started real estate, which was 2008.
Not gonna lie,
Actually,
he started a little bit
he
later.
started after us. Actually,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's crazy to think about.
And we bought our properties in the summer 2018. He bought his in December. So
No, no, that's a good point. I really want to hit on that because I want everybody in here that's especially our older audience, the ones that feel like, oh, well, yeah, I missed my years already. We're talking about this dude's journey is from 2018 to now. That's 3 years. Within 3 years, he was able to accumulate 30 units, and they're cash flowing him to where he can do whatever he wants already. He's already achieved the financial freedom level. Now he's just reaching for higher. But that shows you how obtainable it is and how fast it can happen if you're really intentional about it. And that's his story. I loved it so much because he understands the value of people. He understands that leveraging people and building those relationships is really what gets you to achieve the high end goals. Like I know there's a saying that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think he really embodies that just by everything that he was talking about with everything that he was doing before that led up to him getting those 30 units. So I'm gonna let him save the story for him to tell, but it was great. Like just understanding that perspective really led him to achieving everything that he has achieved and will achieve.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's a fact. That's a fact. So I really want to get into it, but before I do get into it, I want to, I want to ask y'all to definitely go ahead and leave a review on the podcast. Drop a 5-star rating for us. That's on the podcast app, the Apple Podcast app. If you are listening on Apple Podcast, that is definitely how podcasts grow. The more ratings they get, the more listeners we can get, the better we're gonna get ranked in the algorithm, and that's definitely what we're trying to do. We actually had last month was the most. I was looking at the stats. Actually, this month technically it's still April 30th, so we still got a few more hours. But I was looking at the stats, and it was the biggest month in listenership that we've had. We've crossing into a higher weekly average. We were at about 1,000 a week for a good amount of time. Now we're getting into a little bigger numbers. So it's exciting to see it continue to grow, and bringing on guests like we have been. I'm sure that just I hope people are getting.
It's a
value.
matter of time, man.
Yeah, man. It's just got to continue pushing, and that's what we're trying to do. So the reviews help us do that tremendously. I don't just ask so I can go read them and feel good about myself. I mean, I do that too, but they help. They help the algorithm. It's bigger than me. So, but yeah, that being said, let's get into it.
What's going on, Eugene?
How y'all feeling?
Man, doing good, bro. I actually just got to meet you last week for the first time. I actually didn't even know about you before last week, but no, it's crazy to see what connections can do for just for everybody that's listening. We were able to find out who Eugene was through Andre Hatchett, somebody we had on a podcast a few episodes back. I don't know which episode it was, but we had Andre Hatchett on, and this is the power of connection. So
Shout out to Andre Hatchett. He's a super connector for real.
no, seriously, he put us in the doors with a lot of people. So my dude Eugene has been killing it. Had no idea, but I want you to get into your story, man. So how we usually start these episodes is we always like to get into the backstory of our guests to see like how they were with finances growing up, especially like what they saw in their households and how that led to them getting to where they are today.
Yeah, so you got to start with the background, right? If you don't know where you was, you don't know where you're going. But we have a choice to live or to see the future. For me, man, I come from a very humble beginning. You know, family was poor, family still poor, and they didn't come from a consciousness of wealth, or at least aspirations to build wealth, right? I grew up on the south side of Chicago in the Roseland neighborhood. Didn't really have a good relationship with money. Parents didn't have a good relationship with money. My dad was on drugs. Didn't really know my mom growing up. So my dad was a good dad, but he just made, decisions that didn't necessarily benefit his offsprings, but was a good father. And then as you mature and you grow up, you realize that, decisions really can change the trajectory of not only your life, but everybody else that's involved. So dad was on drugs, didn't really know my mom growing up, didn't have no idea of real estate, money management, prosperity consciousness, nothing. And so met some mentors. They got involved in my life while I was in high school. In high school, I was considered what you call an at-risk youth in Chicago. So that was either at risk of gun violence or at risk of going to jail. So I was hanging around the wrong people, got into this program called YAP, met two mentors that completely changed my life. Both of them were involved in real estate, and they both were like, yo, you just got to go to college for a semester. Go for a semester, see what it's like, see if you like it. If you like it, then we'll figure out how we can keep you there. And so finished high school with a 1.6 GPA, ended up going to Northern Illinois University. There I met Brian Robinson. You guys know Brian.
Brian.
GPA. And did that whole thing. First semester, killed it. Away from the hood, I was like, yo, I got to figure out, how do I stay here? Like, how do I not go back to the Wild Hunteds, far south side of Chicago? Ended up killing it. Got some scholarships, kept a GPA high, pledged, did all of that. And then, long story short, moving into the financial space now, I got an internship with this company called Owens & Minor. They did healthcare logistics, supply chain, and they was paying me full time when I was in school. So I was making like $1,200 to $1,300. I was hourly. I was making $1,200 to $1,300 through this internship, not only in the summer but also going back to school. So imagine being in school every 2 weeks. You was getting $1,200, $1,300. Right? Most folks, they working at the dining halls or the library or whatever. They're not making $1,200, $1,300 every 2 weeks. So for me, I had a lot of discretionary income, but I was blowing it on, Hennessy, just like stuff that you just do to kick it, clothes. I didn't have anything to show for it.
Hennessy.
And then I got involved in this group chat called Money Talk. And somebody added me randomly. I was getting my haircut. Somebody added me to this group chat called Money Talk, where I met one of my best friends now, Jeff Badu. And we were in there. They was talking about cryptocurrency. Had no idea what cryptocurrency was, but I was stacking some dough at the time. And I just ended up buying a Bitcoin. It was like, what year was this?
Repeat that. You said buying a Bitcoin?
Yeah. This was like maybe 2015, 2014, 2015. One of those years, man. I bought a Bitcoin. I had some Ethereum, and like I had made like 15 grand. Like in like 2 weeks, it was crazy. And so for me, I was like, yo, like, how in the hell did I just do that? I didn't even know what I was doing. I just bought something because everybody was talking about us at this group chat. Made money, and then I was like, yo, I need to figure out how in the hell can I do this every 2 weeks, right? I made more in that 2 weeks that I made in the summer working an internship. So I was like, yo, I got to figure this out. So I went to the library and I picked up this book that taught you how to do options. And so I was reading options. I was reading the book or whatever, and then I was like, yo, this can we curse? Can I curse or no?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this shit is way too boring. Like, I don't understand this. I'm good on this. And so somebody recommended Rich Dad Poor Dad, and started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it was describing my entire situation. So the mentors I had was quote unquote the rich dad, but my actual father and my immediate family was my poor dad, right? And it was just like, wow, like this is all of this is making so much sense. And so he started talking about real estate, your asset column, your liability column, etc. And so um, started stacking dough again. And then immediately when I graduated college, I bought my first property. So I bought my first property immediately when I got out of college, and it was a complete nightmare. Like everything went wrong that you could think of. Lawsuits. I lost over $50,000. It was a complete total nightmare. But through the grace of God and the relationships and connections, I was able to take things over and turn it around. And so at the beginning of the podcast, we was talking about how powerful relationships are, right? I'm a firm believer that we're all just one relationship away. Literally, we're all just one relationship away from turning our talents, our skill sets, our mindsets, our income to the next level, man. And I'm so grateful for my relationships because if I didn't have the people in my network at that time, dude, I'd probably be done with real estate. So that's kind of how I got to where I am right now.
So, and we gonna take it forward a little bit and then take it back. Can you kind of mention briefly kind of what your real estate portfolio looks like right now, and then I want to go back and talk about some of the stuff you just talked about.
Yeah, so right now, thanks, grateful for God, super humble, thankful. Right now, I got 30 units.
Sheesh.
Right now,
And what's your age, man?
I'm 20. I just turned 26.
Just turned
Sheesh.
26. Not even been 26. Just turned it.
Yeah, I just turned 26. So
You got 30 units, man. So I love this story. It's funny that you mentioned the rich dad, poor dad too. That real life scenarios, the black version of rich dad, poor dad, man. Rich dad, hood, rich dad, hood dad. But man, that's an amazing story because I love the fact how getting out of out of that environment changed your mindset. Because whenever you were telling it, you had mentioned how you were in high school and you had 1.6 GPA in high school, but you get to college and now you're getting scholarships. You're just keeping your GPA high. You in the frat and all those kind of things. Are you in the same frat as Brian, by the way?
no, Brian is in Alpha Phi Alpha. Unfortunately, he made a bad decision. I'm the Kappa Alpha side, man. Kappa Alpha side.
I got you. Well, yeah, man. I mean, it's great. I mean, I know you and I think you said NIU, right? That's in like the Cobb, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's completely, I'm sure, different than the South Side of Chicago.
Totally.
So, you completely in a different environment now, and so it's always so interesting to hear how literally just changing your environment, and you knew I can't go back there. I cannot go back there, and that's why we are big advocates, and many people are, the fact that you gotta leave your hometown. Like, you gotta get out of that area where you grew up, even if you grew up in wealth, even if you grew up in luxuries and just prosperity all around you. It's still good to get out because you have to change your context, because that's really the only way you can change your life. Even if you did grow up in a good environment, most people that do grow up in good environments, if they never leave, they either don't achieve what their parents achieved, or they just settle for something less because they got so comfortable, right? But I know for you, I mean, getting out of there helped you tremendously. So that's something that every young person should do as soon as you can, get the hell out of your house.
Yeah.
No, I'm on the exact same wavelength with you, man, because I think about how different my life would have been had I never had my dad. So this is my story. My dad's job moved us to Houston when I was in 10 and when I was 10 years old. And I don't know how different my life would have been had I never had that move, because now you're surrounded by entirely new people. All your old friends that you were growing up with back in Detroit. Well, for me back in Detroit, I don't associate with them as much. So now it's like a fresh slate. Like, who are you going to surround yourself with? And now I meet people like Alex. We're both competitive and we both have like a competitive drive. We're trying to be the best. We're trying to do good in school, do good in football, do good in having money, all those type of
Video
things. Right, 2K. I mean, battling it out, everything. So that's pushing us to be better than most in just about anything that we aspire to be good in. And
Yeah.
so and that's why it's so important, like, to surround yourself with the right people, because that at least is the catalyst to get you moving in a different direction early on than what you were currently going into. And I really applaud your mentors, because even though they were doing real estate, they still told you to go to college anyway, because even us knowing real estate, we don't necessarily think that college is a requirement. But I think they at least saw that you may need a new environment. And I think that was probably the number one thing that they were trying to instill in you, was getting out of where you currently were, just to put yourself in a realm of new people, new ideas, new ways of thinking. And I think that has done wonders for you ever since.
It changed my entire life, man. I'm so grateful, so humble, that I was able to meet them people. And I look at it like this, right? So think of it as a snapping turtle, right? If you was to go catch a snapping turtle, and let's say you caught it as a baby or something, right? You caught a snapping turtle as a baby, whatever, and you put it in a fish tank in your house, right? That snapping turtle is only going to grow to the size of that fish tank, to the size of its environment. But if you take that snapping turtle and then you release it, right, it'll more than triple its growth within the first year, right? So it's the same analogy, man, as a snapping turtle. You have to have a different level of exposure. Your exposure will change your life. And I remember when I first got to NIU, I was so overwhelmed, I had a headache.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, like, nah, hell, this ain't gonna work. Cause I'm south side of Chicago. All I know is this block, that block, and the bus. Right. But totally changed my life, man, and I'm forever grateful.
Yeah, man. Exposure leads to expansion, man. that's the name of it. Do you still own that Bitcoin, by the way?
No, I wish I did. Yeah.
When did you sell it? Because you said you made 15K, so you must have sold it pretty quick.
No, it was so long ago. Man, I had no idea what I was doing. I just made some money, and I probably blew it like the next weekend or something. I have no idea. I probably got to check my Coinbase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want to hit on one thing that you had mentioned, though, because you said that when you first changed that environment to go to NIU, you were like, man, this is not for me. Like, I don't see my normal 2 blocks. I don't see what I was normally used to seeing. Now, I think that part right there is what scares most people for changing their environments, because you're going to go through that. You're going to have to experience that a little bit of culture shock in order to adapt to that new environment, because it's completely different than anything you're familiar with, especially as you get older. So how did you cope with going through that in that initial shock phase?
So that's a really good question. So if I could remember, so I went out there first day, I had a headache. We was driving around a car, and he was like, yeah, this is where you're gonna be going, whatever. And I was like, yo, like this ain't gonna work. If I had a 1.6, graduated from high school, it ain't no way college is about to work, like, at all. So got in my dorm room, and believe it or not, it's gonna sound cliche, got in my dorm room, and later on that day, I just saw all these girls, dog. It was like, whoa. It was like, hold on, wait a second.
I can do this.
This might be the move. Like, I might need to figure something out. But so got there later on that day. I saw a bunch of women, and then I knew the first thing I needed to do was get a job. Right? I started working when I was 15, 16. I needed to get a job. If I can get a job, I'll figure the rest out. And so for the first time in my life, I was away from, like, I slept on the couch all the way up until I went to college. So for the first time in my life, I had my own bed. right? So very super humble beginning. So it's like, yo, I had a good thing going. Let me keep this. Let me just see like where this could take me. And then I started having fun on the weekends. So it was really that environment of like, all right, women having fun on the weekends, and then I was able to work. So and then I was also able to meet people that was cool, right? So just like, all right, I like this. Because when I would go back home on like the holiday weekend or whatever, I noticed I didn't relate to the friends I had anymore. We couldn't relate to each other anymore. So it's like, all right, yeah, I gotta retire that, and then let me just focus more on what's in front of me and where I'm going.
Yeah, man. It's that circle. That circle changes because your conversations now changes,
Mhm.
and so now when you go back, it's like you know you're going backwards, and it just cannot work because now your mind is like, man, what the hell are y'all talking about? And it's kind of like, we used to always have conversations like in high school and stuff. We was talking about, just whatever was pertinent to us in that time, right? Football, the NBA. Man, you could recite so many of the players' stats,
All the stats, man. You
but
ripping them, letting them rip. Know everybody. LeBron, Kobe,
man,
just
it,
go.
it it was just like that was common knowledge. Like if you couldn't talk at a high level in that aspect, it's like, yo, what's wrong with you? So, but like now it's like, yo, sometimes I be looking at some of the things going on in the league and stuff. I'm like, dang, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Because it's like I just be so out of touch of it. But now, the conversation has changed. Now we talking real estate, we talking business, we talking finances, making money, passive income, all that kind of stuff. So if the conversation is not about that, then I'm probably not going to be that interested. So it's such, and it's so crazy because it's like you never even expect it. It just happens.
Yep.
But
Yep. Oh, go ahead.
well, yeah, because I want to kind of move it
Yeah.
into the what he's kind of gotten into now. Because I know you mentioned that the what you had read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that was a catalyst for you to get into real estate. And I know obviously he talks about in that book in terms of assets. He's a big real estate guy himself, so that's the primary asset he talks about. So how did you actually get like what how did you get into your first property? Was it a house hack, FHA loan? Was it how'd you get into that? And how the hell did you lose $50,000 on your first property? You had to have been doing something.
Something wrong.
Yeah.
So all right, so here's how it happened, right? So I was looking for a property. Me and my best friend at the time, he's passed, and we were both. He I inspired him to like, yo, this is what we gonna do. Like this we're about to build a real estate empire. This is going through my head.
And what year was this?
What's that?
What
What
year was it?
year?
What year I bought my first property?
Yeah, what year was this?
2018.
Okay.
2018. So it was December 27th of 2018 is when I bought my first property, 2 days after Christmas. And long story short, I had been looking for a property for a while, right? And I couldn't find anything. I specifically wanted one area, and that was Woodline. Woodline on the south side of Chicago is a very, very prominent area. It is very difficult to get into now. So you got Hyde Park, and then you got Woodline. Woodline is basically now the new Hyde Park, and then next to that you got South Shore. So I already had my head like I was on target. Like, yo, I need to get a property in Woodline, and I'll share why or where I'm at now based on when I bought it in 2018 on why I was so gun ho on like, yo, I need Woodline, I need Woodline, I need Woodline. So I was trying to look for a property in Woodline, and some of the places I was seeing they were already renovated, but the bedrooms were small. It didn't really feel like home, and so one of my other close friends he owned a property in Woodline, heavy in real estate as well. He does more of the fix and flipping, etc. We stay literally 2 blocks away from each other, so sometimes I walk over there, sometimes he walk over here. And he was telling me like, yo, you want to be on the northwest quadrant of Woodline. So I'm on 61st. We'll keep the address out. But what happened? Couldn't find anything. And then I was like, damn, my best friend that was looking too, he ended up finding a property, closed, got a tenant, everything. And in a matter of like 2 months. And I was like, wow, like I'm behind. I kind of felt behind. And I learned so much through this whole process too. I felt behind. I was like, yo, I gotta hit my goals. I gotta hit my goal. I gotta close on my first property before the end of 2018. And at this moment, right, when I closed and all the BS happened, I realized that sometimes you need to adjust your goals, although you may think that you're letting yourself down. But if it don't work out, that may be the universe and you sign to just press pause, right? But I didn't recognize it at the time. So I was looking for properties, couldn't find anything. Best friend found something, and then I felt left out. Like, damn, I can't find anything. And then next thing you know, I was like, all right, cool. I guess I got to do a rehab. So arrogant, right? So arrogant. I was like, I guess I got to do a rehab. Found this broker who she was a general contractor, broker, a mentor, real estate guru, right? All this stuff. And so she told me she would pretty much take me under her wing. She'll show me the ropes, whatever. Cool. Start working with her, and I noticed she only was showing me properties that her friends had, other developers that she knew in the network. And I would get like leads from the MLS from neighborhoods that I already told her I wasn't interested in. And so I was wondering, like, why was she doing that? But then the only properties we would go out and see was the ones of our friends. And didn't like any of those. Long story short, I ended up finding the building on Zillow. Found it. They had 3 tenants in there. And I was just like, all right, cool. I'm just going to purchase the building, do cash for keys. This is my mindset. I'm going to do cash for keys, and then we're going to go ahead and renovate. FHA.
What kind of unit was it? It was like a duplex? 3 unit, okay.
So purchase the building, right? So imagine one of the tenants was supposed to have already left. They sent me photos of the 3rd unit being vacant, right? Closed on the property, found out that tenant was still there. So all three tenants were still there. So I'm hoping I can do cash the keys. I'm offering $1,500, right? I'm offering $1,500 for each person. Like, yo, like, cash the keys. Let me get y'all up. Now I'm up $2,500. I'm $3,000 a person now. Right. I'm trying to get folks out so I can get my renovation going, so I can move in, whatever. They not going. Right. They giving me the runaround. They telling me they look for places. I'm a newbie in the game. I don't understand anything that's going on. And so now I'm also calling around trying to help them find places too. Realizing like, yo, they just screwing me. So I just said, let me just go ahead and get the eviction process going. So ended up evicting 3 tenants, right? Immediately when I closed, I had to do an eviction. Ended up evicting 3 tenants, got them out.
How long did that take?
Oh man, Chicago is
how long and how much?
Illinois is a pro-tenant state. They are not landlords.
So you closed December 27th of 2018. So now we are in June of 2019?
Dude, I didn't get them cats out until May of 2019.
I was 1 month off, man.
I didn't get them out until May of 2019, and in the midst of me getting ready to close,
were they paying rent?
They wasn't paying rent.
Oh,
they weren't paying rent. Beautiful building. It's the perfect location. I'm right across the street from a Jewel Osco, economic development. I'm good. Like now everything is straight. I got the best property out of all my friends. So I'm straight now. But so I needed a general contractor. But this broker told me that she was going to teach me the game, show me everything. 2 days before I was closing, she was going to be my general contractor. 2 days before I was closing, she backed out.
Sheesh.
She backed out. And so the bank like, well, we can't close without no general contractor on record for you to close with. So now I'm searching for somebody. Ended up having to extend the closing date. The seller is kind of getting antsy, like, yo, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, and it was a 203K.
203K, exactly.
Yeah.
So I ended up reaching out to somebody that actually builds new construction homes on the south side of Chicago. I trust this guy. So he referred me the general contractor. Keep in mind, this general contractor that he referred me only did little side projects for him.
It was no full rehabs. It was just like change my floors in here or something.
Exactly. Change my floor.
He was a handyman.
Right, exactly.
And throw up some drywall, whatever, right? So I ended up hiring this guy because Craig, guy named Craig, Craig, referred him And so brought him on board. And then also, too, his energy kind of fit mine. He always called me boss. He always showed me some level of respect in comparison to everybody else I was looking at. So I brought him on board. I'll speed it up so we can get to the next thing. Everything he did was wrong. My plumbing was wrong. My electricity was wrong. Everything was completely wrong. And I didn't realize he was doing things wrong until I would go days without no work being done on the property. Like days, and the number one thing that you want to be focused on when you're doing a renovation is the timeline and the budget.
Yep.
Timeline and budget, right? So we would go days, no work being done. And I'm like, yo, like, what the hell is going on? Most of these general contractors, they're not liquid enough. So they robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're working on one project over there, and then they'll take the money from that project. They're waiting to get their disbursement, take the money from that project, and then they go dump the money in your stuff. And then whoever else project they're working on is waiting for them to come back because they ain't get paid for my project yet, right? So everybody playing a waiting game. This how some of these general contractors are. Unfortunately, the ones that are not liquid, that's not really seasoned in the business.
Yeah.
He did everything wrong, man. And so I got fed up, and I ended up just firing the guy. And then when I fired the guy, I brought in an inspector. Imagine you're supposed to have a HUD consultant. Your HUD consultant is supposed to catch all this shit.
Yeah.
My HUD consultant didn't catch anything, right? So he was getting paid out on work that wasn't done with the highest level of integrity. It wasn't done right, not at the city code or anything, right? So not only did it pass my HUD consultant, but I wasted time and I wasted money. Brought in another inspector. I was like, yo, I need you to inspect like everything. Paid whatever it was. I didn't care. He inspected everything. Long story short, I have to start from scratch.
Just start back over. This still in May or just a little bit past May now?
We passed May. Yeah.
Shoot.
We way past May. So I had to speed it up for y'all, man.
Yeah,
so,
not good.
I ended up having to gut everything out and literally start all over again. I didn't know what to start. I didn't know what to do. And I share my story in my course that I'm getting ready to release called The Renovation Game. So I ended up hiring a general contractor, right? I ended up hiring a general contractor not to do the work, but I hired him as a consultant, right? I hired him as a consultant to teach me the business. So I ended up becoming my own general contractor. He leased me all of his subs, so I also paid him for his subs, right? So his subs now became my subs, and then I was able to complete the work. But I didn't complete the project until October of 2020 on that deal.
2020?
Whoa, that's
October of
what is
2020.
that? That is 22 months.
Yeah, October 2020.
22-month rehab, man.
That one deal, yep.
And so all this time is not being rented out, right?
All this time is not being rented out.
All this time you're making mortgage payments.
All that time I'm making mortgage payments.
And you still got a housing, your own living payment that you got to.
Luckily, I moved in with a friend, and I didn't have the current houses. So
shout out to your friend.
A big shout out to them. They had to stand you for 22 months. That's crazy.
Man, this dude, you got a full introduction to the world of real estate investing on your first deal. I'm talking what can go wrong will go wrong. Murphy's Law, because you got the tenant experience firsthand, literally, but like, and starting right off the bat, you went 0 to 100. And for those that don't know, whenever you're a landlord, evictions are the last thing you want to do. That is like the worst case scenario. And I know that just from, I haven't had any problem tenants, but even a tenant that is like not, easy going is a headache. So I cannot imagine having to evict 3 separate tenants on your first property. Not even that, the fact that combined with that, man, shout out to you for sticking through it, because even with the contractor too, you got the worst of the worst right off the bat, man. And so I want people to really understand that, like, that is the reality of real estate investing. Like, that is what it could be, even on your first deal. The universe don't care that it's your first deal. Like, that's just what had to happen, unfortunately, just based off of the situation. So I mean, how? Well, okay, Marlon, did you? I know you went to.
No, you said you hit the nail on the head with everything you said. I was about to say answer the same question you finna ask.
I heard it in his head, like, yo, like, what the hell?
I already know what you finna ask because there is no way that people can go through all of this for 22 months
Yeah, yeah.
and just say, you know what, I'm ready for the next one. Like that don't happen. So
Yeah.
I know you mentioned you had counsel, like you had your network of people that was keeping you up. What are they saying? What are they doing that's motivating you to say this was okay? I'm ready for another deal. I'm ready to build to 30 units.
30 units after that.
Yeah, all right. So we got two questions. So the 30 units, and then what was the council saying? All right. So I'll address what was the council saying. So had a conversation with both of those mentors I mentioned that changed my life. Right. The building was eating me up so much, and I was also dealing with like a breakup too at the time. So it was like I had the building, and then I had
Throw that down there.
I was like, shit, it can't get no worse than this. And so I was very stressed. You know, I was so stressed out, man. I couldn't really think straight because all I kept thinking about was this building, and at the time I still worked a full-time job too. And then I had other businesses on the side as well. So I'm literally like a machine, like trying to get everything done. And my mentor was like, yo, first thing you need to do is you need to just slow down and relax. Understand that that's just brick and mortar, right? It's not worth your happiness. It's not worth, you not being able to go to sleep or you not being in tune with yourself. So I actually had to detach myself from the property first. That was the first thing I had to do is I had to detach myself from the property so that I can get back into who I was, who Eugene Marshall was, who Gene was. And so once I started doing that, I could think clearly, right? I remember it was times where I was going to the property and right when I walk inside the door, I just get anxiety. Like I just be like, yo, I can't even be in here. I need to leave, like ASAP. I need to dip. So that was that conversation with one mentor. The other mentor was like, yo, like, I'm gonna help you out, but in order for me to help you out, I need you to commit to the process.
All right.
He was like, I need you to commit to the process. And I said, I'm in. I trust these two guys. I said, I'm in. And so I ended up hiring him, right? Because he was just gonna take the project on and just do it on his own and just finish it out for me. But he was like, man, like if you really want to be in this business, then you need to do it yourself. Mm-hmm. So I hired him and I paid him, and he would have just did it for me for free because of our relationship. I've known him since high school. But I understand and I realize me now developing a prosperity conscious that people who don't pay attention. Mm-hmm. Right? If you don't pay, you don't pay attention. So I ended up just hiring him, and then he ended up showing me the game. He ended up walking me literally through every single thing, right? So now I can go into another rehab, which I have. I can go into another rehab, assess it, know exactly what's going on, and know exactly how to turn it around because I went through hell. So I know what don't look right. I know it ain't right, right? And then as you meet people and you develop relationships with inspectors, etc., you learn a bit more that way as well. So how do I get to 30? Right. So the second question. So while I was going through that with that property, I was still creating cash flow. I still had other income producing assets that was driving me revenue. And so I used to do network marketing for a real estate education company. And so that real estate education company was great for me at the time. I enjoyed it. I met a lot of people, but I also started teaching, right, while I was with the company as well. So I was building up my brand. I was teaching. I had students. I had about 30 students that I would teach on a weekly on Wednesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. At the University Co-work, which is in Hyde Park. And so I would teach on Wednesdays. And so these are individuals that was inspiring to get into the real estate space. And I was also doing wholesale deals, right? So I was doing a ton of wholesale deals. This was before they made wholesaling illegal in Illinois. So now you can only do 2 within a 12-month interval. Really? Prior to that, you could do as many as you wanted. But now that it was illegal, I was like, all right, cool. I got my 2 out the way, but I had access to all these students, right? These were my students. So meaning either I enrolled them into the program or somebody else enrolled them into the program. However, they have to come see me every Wednesday. So imagine I'm having 30 students come to a weekly class at 7 p.m. and I'm always in the front of the room, right? So my experience, my knowledge, that built trust, that built credibility, and that built rapport with my students. I got to know them on a personal basis. So they come into me and they say, hey, Eugene, I want to do a wholesale deal. Hey, Eugene, I want to buy my first property. So now we get into, okay, wholesaling is now illegal. I've done wholesale deals before. So now I'm teaching it to my students, but I'm teaching it to them for a fee. Right? So now I'm consulting them through the entire process, but I need 50%. Right? So I already got the cash buyers list. Everything is already ready for you. And I'll actually source the deals for you. Right? I'll teach you how to analyze the deals. I'll source the deals for you, but we're going to close, you're going to be the one that's going to actually assigning the contract.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're just going to Zelle me what you and I have agreed to on the back door. Right. So I had a bunch of students that I was kind of doing that program with. They was happy because they was doing their first wholesale deal and then they made money. And then I was happy because I didn't have to go get a real estate broker's license. And I was already teaching them on a Wednesday night anyway. And then I was also getting paid for it. Right. And so they was just bringing me more deals and bringing me more people. And so as they was bringing me deals, I also had a credit repair business. I had a credit repair business where I was repairing individuals' credit. And so my system was, all right, cool. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a pipeline of qualified buyers, right? So me as a real estate investor, I know that I want to purchase distressed properties on the south side of Chicago, acquire them, renovate them, and then sell them to a qualified buyer, right? And then I want to sell them without having to put it on the market. So that saves time. You save money because I already got a qualified buyer that's already ready. So me playing a game and me having mentors, they were like, all right, the best thing that you can do while you're renovating or you're in the process of renovating is to create qualified buyers, right? You got a pipeline of qualified buyers sitting over here, and then you got all this inventory over here, real estate that you're acquiring and renovating. So I was creating qualified buyers over there. Some of them was my family members, some of them was friends, whatever. So I started doing partnerships. I had some bad ones, I had some good ones, but I started forming partnerships with some of these qualified buyers that I created. I've already repaired their credit, so they trust me.
Yeah.
Right? It's all rapport, it's all trust. So I've already repaired their credit, and then I was already killing the game with wholesale deals, so I had plenty of down payment money, right? And then I also had I still do, a concealed carry business as well that was also bringing in a ton of income, right? So I had a lot of income already coming in. So I had systems in place. So all these qualified buyers that I was creating, right? They had income. They had W-2 jobs. They had income. I already had the trust with them. They trust me. So I was the guy. Basically, here's what I was doing. So I was just leveraging credit-worthy partners to get 4 units, right? I only wanted to get 4 units. We was getting 4 units. And then I was just the guy that was providing the down payment. That was it. And so I collected 100% of the rent roll until I got my down payment back. So I didn't give them no checkbook control. All of the rent went into the business bank account, everything. So they didn't have no access to none of that until I got my down payment back. When I got my down payment back, that's when we began splitting things 50-50. And I
That's creative.
I was just rinsing and repeating the whole time.
So now you have 30 units that are like partnered like 50-50 between all of your qualified buyers. Is that how it got there?
Yep.
Okay. So first of all, that is like genius. And I want to break it down to how I was hearing it, because at first I was under the impression that you were having this terrible property that took 22 months to renovate, and then you were probably working a 9 to 5 on the side, well, a 9 to 5 as your day job, and then coming out after that to this hell of a house that you had to go to every day, and that was just a dreadful back and forth. But no, in reality, what you were building was systems of there was multiple streams of income, but within the same industry that were all building on top of each other. Yeah. So you started wholesaling, and that wholesaling and MLM about like as far as like real estate marketing. So now you're teaching people about real estate. You're getting the experience of wholesaling, and now you're teaching people. Like people are wanting to wholesale because they see you doing it.
Exactly.
And so now you're building income from that on top of teaching them, and then it's crazy because it keep on going. Now you get credit because that's building cash flow right there. Then you take the credit repair business and start getting people prepped up to buy houses so you can start building up your units. Wow, like so now you can start building up your portfolio, and then when you taking all of your cash that you're taking from the wholesaling and from the finder's fees and stuff, and able to put down all the down payments, and now you have 50-50 partnerships because you bought a deal, you bought the knowledge, and now they just bring their credit, and they are able to leverage their credit so you can get into a partnership with them.
Exactly.
This is genius, man.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. So the reason why their credit was bad in the first place is because they got poor money management. So they don't got a down payment.
Yeah.
They don't got the down payment. So they need somebody that can provide the down payment. Poof, voila, here's me, right? So I had the down payment, but the original idea was not to leverage. It wasn't to leverage them to begin with to purchase rental units. It was to leverage them to buy the properties from me.
Yeah.
I was going to acquire them, buy them, renovate them, and then sell them. So I wanted to create a fix and flipping business at first, right? And then the rehab was going left. So I was like, maybe I might not want to do like fix and flipping all the way. So let me at least buy cash flow. Like let me buy cash flow, and I'm going to continue to buy cash flow. I'm not going to stop.
And see, that's because I don't want because I want people to understand this. So I want to break it down a certain way too, because essentially what like the base, the foundation of what he's doing is partnerships to get into properties and to own real estate, right? And so because a lot of people, they want to own 100% of everything. They want to, if they're going to get into real estate, they say, if I can't own it all, then I don't want to get in. I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to partner. But you got to understand what it is actually happening, right? Because you talked about the fact that you were leveraging them. That's what a partnership is.
Yeah.
You leverage each other's weaknesses, right? And in real estate, there's always going to be three things that somebody has to have, right? It's either going to be money, it's going to be time, or it's going to be, it's really two. Time and like the knowledge and the hustle is all one thing. Like if you can't not have money and then not have hustle or knowledge. Like you pick your struggle. So what essentially you were doing was leveraging people that didn't have the money, and you were, you had the money. They didn't necessarily have the ability to get into these properties themselves. And so that's what you want to look for with partnerships. Not even if you have not, and this is just in general, not even if you're going to do it the way Eugene did it, but just in general, it's a great way to get into real estate, especially for your first deal. Because if you are sitting here and you have never done a deal yet and you don't have any money, that is not your obstacle. Your obstacle is figuring out how you can find a deal for somebody that has money, right? Because there is money out there. I promise you, if you bring a good deal to somebody, they don't care about you. That's why they don't care about the fact that you haven't done it, because they know it's a good deal. That's what hard money lenders do essentially too. They don't care. That's why they don't lend based off of credit. They don't care about you. That's just the fact that you have a good deal. We know we can make money, and that's what partnerships are. It's leveraging each other's weaknesses.
Pretty much, you gotta be intentional, very, very intentional, and that is when I knew that this is all relationship. It's the relationship game, man. That's the game that we're playing, right? Yeah. I would not have been able to do that if I did not build relationships. So as I was repairing their credit, we talked, right? We was built. See, relationships cannot exist without conversation. That's just the reality of it. Relationships cannot exist without conversation. You made, let's say Marlon, right? Alex, right? So I met Marlon last week. Alex, I'm meeting you today, right? Yeah. So I may know Marlon and Alex 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, but do we have a relationship if we don't have conversation, right? Yeah. So conversations are relationships, and people have relationships with people that they relate to. right? So I started realizing, man, that I needed to have relationships, and the relationships have changed my life, my income statements, and everything. And so I'm more so playing the relationship game. Money gonna come. It's a byproduct.
Yeah, I want to hit on that because that is like the essence of everything that you just said. Because no people much rather do deals with people that they know and have a relationship with over people who are just saying that this is a great deal and they never met them before in their life and they just want to keep it strictly business. Like people are like 1,000 times more likely to do a business with somebody that they know, like, and trust. And so without those factors, you're putting yourself behind the eight ball when it comes to getting that deal done. I think about the example. There is Grant Cardone on Undercover Billionaire. I don't know if you've even seen that show or not, but he was told that he's in a foreign place to where he can't use his name, his likeness, or anything like that, or his money. And he was trying to sell people on a real estate deal, like a big apartment deal. These are actual accredited investors that he's trying to sell it to. And it was but it was a sales pitch type of play where they never met him before in his life. They all turned it down. Like he laid it out at X, Y, well, A to Z of how this deal could make them money. But because they never knew him beforehand, they were like, you know what? I'm not trusting this guy. They don't have any relationship with him. And so that's the difference between what you were doing versus what he was doing on the show, is that you started off credit repair. You started off with the MLM in the coaching every Wednesday. All this stuff is building relationship and building that know, like, and trust factor with you. And that allows you to be able to leverage them later on, as far as being able to get into 30 units, just like one by one. Like, okay, I built it. You see that we have this relationship. Would you like to go into a partnership with me on this 4-unit apartment? Let's get it. That's what they say right away. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's the essence of relationships. And I wish more people would truly understand to value people and to build that relationship before answer for anything.
You know.
So because I want to kind of get into this whole thing for the person that's listening, that's trying to get into real estate too, because that's why I think this conversation has kind of become in that sense of getting into real estate with, by leveraging partnerships and those kind of things, right? And so one thing I want to hear your input on this too, Eugene, because one thing that I say is, I think that you had to really be intentional about like networking with people like regularly, especially at places where these kind of people are like congregate, right? Like RIA meetings, those kind of things, right? Even online on Facebook groups and those kind of things, trying to meet as many people in this space as possible. A lot of people are just trying to find the deal instead of actually trying to find a relationship, right? And so what are some ways you would encourage people to begin networking with people in order to find people that they can partner up with to get into real estate investing?
That's a really good question. So I'll answer that with this. There's a difference between wishing you can have a certain lifestyle or wishing you can do something than believing you can achieve it or believing that you already deserve it and that you just got to receive it, right? So first off, you got to internalize it and make it up in your mind first that like, yo, this is what I want to do and I know I can do it. See, a lot of people they create goals and they don't really think they can do it. So since they don't think they can do it, they don't go all in. Right? They go 10%, 20%, 30%. Yo, like it's not gonna work. It doesn't happen. So you gotta go 110% in, because even at the 100%, you get tired. You start to struggle. You start to come down a little bit. Yo, you gotta be 110% in. Like it has to work, or it has to work. That has to be your mindset. So when that becomes your mindset, you build this level of confidence up. And that confidence comes after time. Like you gotta see some results, some good, some success, right? Some success helps build confidence, right? So where I would start is internally and understanding like, yo, if Marley can do it and Alex can do it, I can do it. If Eugene can do it, if so and so can do it, I can do it. They're no different than me, right? The only thing that makes them different is their choices, their decisions, and the people that they surround themselves with. So you start studying those people. Right? Books, audiobooks, podcasts, whatever. So do the internal work. Once you do the internal work, now you're ready. Now you're equipping yourself with the confidence to go out there and start meeting people. So I will go out to where the people that you're striving to be like hang out at. right? So you're gonna need a real estate attorney. So go on Facebook and make a post. Hey, I am looking for a real estate attorney to purchase a property. Bang. Somebody gonna comment and refer you somebody, right? Start building a relationship from there. Like, hey, I'm Eugene. I'm looking to get involved in real estate. I was wondering if you can assist me or know anybody that could perhaps mentor me. And you got to call. That's one way, right? You really got to put yourself out there. You got to be very intentional. Put yourself out there. It may take some time, but you know that you're doing the work. And if you do the work, the universe has no choice but to reward you. I mean, that's my thought process. It's just laws, right? It's just laws. So you want to go to RIAs, right? Go to private real estate groups. Hell, if you got to join an MLM that's about financial literacy. I joined an MLM that sold real estate education, so I learned real estate education. And then there was also a lot of real estate investors that were also doing real estate, because the bigger their rental portfolio got or the bigger deals that they did, people want to know how the hell you was doing it. So now when they found out that oh, he was doing it because he learned it from this private real estate group, people are going to sign up, right? So that was kind of our business model at the time. So private real estate groups, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what the hell, hashtags, real estate, your city. Put your city behind. You got to reach out. It don't happen if you don't reach out.
The thing I like about that too is because once you meet that one person that's really good, there's something that always happens, because most good people hang around other really good people in terms of like their network. So now you instantly get into their network in a sense, right? So you get access to the superstar people around them. Superstar people are going to know other superstar people. So that is
Andre knows Eugene.
Right. And so that's how, I mean, that's exactly how this, whole podcast and everything got set up. That's how, a lot of the stuff that we do actually get set up because of the network that we built with the people that we brought on the show and those kind of things. And that's what essentially you got to do. That's what anything you want to do. But obviously we're talking specifically in real estate, but that's what anything you want to do. That's so huge. And I love that you mentioned the mindset aspect about actually believing that you can do it, right? That the whole be, do, and have mentality.
Yep.
In order to have something, you have to first do it. But in order to do it, you have to first be that person that can do it, right? Because if you're not that person is not going to be able to do stuff you're not going to follow actions of someone that wants to be a successful real estate investor unless you actually believe that you can be a successful real estate investor. So it's so important. I love that.
Yeah, be to have is a concept, man. Like, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. Who do I like? We see the end goal. I want the Lamborghini. I want 10,000 rental units, or I want 2 million, 3 million, whatever the hell you want, right? But we don't sit back and ask ourselves, who do I have to become?
Right.
Yeah.
Who do I have to become? Who do I have to become in order to receive those things, right? And when we talk about success is in direct correlation to growth, right? Success is in direct correlation to growth. That means success is infinite.
Yeah.
Because you can continue, you could be 70 years old still growing.
Yeah.
Right. So we got to understand those basic principles, man, and those concepts. And I'm a firm believer in you want to get the financial literacy. That's very important. Right. But before the financial literacy, there has to be some personal development going on.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be some personal development going on, because if you don't get rid of that scarcity mindset, that you won't even believe that abundance is your birthright. Abundance is your birthright. You were born to be abundant. And if you don't believe that, I can't hang around you, dog. Like we can't hang out.
But no, oh my goodness, I'm crying over here almost, because I was having this conversation literally earlier. So my grandmother's in town, I'm talking to her, and this concept is, I'm struggling to get it through. Everything that you're saying is what I was saying, literally like word for word. Like, you have to truly humble yourself, first of all, and understand that you are not who you need to be in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And so if you want to achieve $1 million real estate portfolio, you are currently in Southside Chicago and are not are not around the right people, you need to change your environment, and you need to change what you like, how highly you view yourself. You need to understand that you need to become a student all over again. Like you need to become a student of whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, whether it's real estate, whether it's a business, anything. You need to go into that field and figure out who are the players that are doing it, who is where I want to be, and I'm gonna become a student of them. And I'm humbling myself to say I don't know how to get there. I need to find somebody who does and learn and network with those type of people. And it just so I love how you've been putting everything, but just to push it forward a little bit more. What is your goals now? Since you've already hit 30 units this like between 2018 and today, you've already hit 30 units. Like, what is your ultimate goal with that real estate portfolio and like moving forward from here?
Yeah. So ultimate goal, man, I think I want somewhere around like 5,000 units when it's all said and done. You know, when it's all said and done, somewhere around 5,000 units. I don't.
You plan to syndicate or what are you looking at?
I'm still defining a plan, man. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I'm not worried about how.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
And then as opportunities arise, we'll see what happens. But I don't want to. I know for sure I'm not into developing. I don't want to develop. I don't want to build. Right. Yeah. I want the structure is already there. It's already cash flowing. I just want to buy and collect income.
Yeah.
So long-term goal, 5,000 units before it's all said and done. Everything's set up, land trust, etc. Short-term goal, my short-term goal right now is 1 million. That's my short-term goal is 1 million liquid. And I personally hired a financial coach and I hired a life coach in 2020. Right. And I'm a firm believer in hiring people. Right. Because if you want to get their attention and you want them to coach you, you want them to mentor you, ain't nobody mentoring for free, bro. Sis, bro or sis. Ain't nobody mentoring for free. At that point, you're going to become a liability. You're going to become a headache and you're going to be a chore. Right. But when you paying them, when you paying them, you got their attention.
Yeah.
And they want to help you. They want to guide you. So my coach, the coach I hired, and not cheap at all. My coach I hired makes 15 some million a year, right? But I'm willing. I don't care what the fee is, right? I'm willing to pay that if you can show me how to do it. Show me how to do it. I want to know the heartaches, the lessons, right? And so for me, my short-term goal is 1 million. And I just want to stay on top of my health, man. 1 million, and that's it.
Yeah.
I got the cash flow. The cash flow is there, right? And I gotta keep acquiring units because I gotta wipe out. I don't want to pay no taxes. I gotta wipe out my taxable income and depreciate, across all these buildings that I get.
Yep.
So those are my goals, man. 1 million. Stay on top of my health, which is everybody's first job, right? Your first job is to stay on top of your health. If you're not healthy, then wealth doesn't even exist because you're not even going to be around to be able to actually realize it. And for some entrepreneurs, they go so hard in their business that they don't necessarily prioritize their health. And when you get out of, the W-2, you got to take those things seriously because now you're responsible for insurance. Now you got those other costs that's associated with being a full-time entrepreneur that wasn't necessarily a requirement for you when you was working a job, right? So it's a lot more discipline. It's a lot more ownership and where you want to go and who you want to be. And so for me, I would say those are my short-term goals, man. Is 1 million liquid.
Health and wealth.
That's it, man.
That's the name of it. So that's dope, man. I love it. So what we want to do, before we wrap it up is kind of get into our last segment of the show. And this is kind of what we call it the Fast Five. We ask you 5 questions and you answer them in 10 seconds or less. Okay. And we going to get into it. So, Mr. 30 before 30, first question.
I like that.
First question, what does success mean to you?
Infinite growth.
Infinite growth, yes, sir. All right, question number 2. What is your favorite money or business book?
Shit. Cash flow quadrant.
Oh, there
Sir,
we go.
that's Alex. That's up
That's
there.
mine. That's mine too. I love it. I love it. Be doing half.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. Number 3. Would you rather have $1 million right now, or $1,000 a week for life, and why?
In 10 seconds left. Shit. I would rather have. Damn. I take the million right now, man.
Yeah. What you gonna do with it?
Expound on it.
I would take the million right now, because now 2016 me, 2017 me would take $1 million right now, and it would be a totally different ball game. I mean, I'd probably go buy a Lambo. Let me ask you, is this $1 million tax free?
Yes, after taxes.
It's tax free.
Yeah.
I got a tax free $1 million. All right, cool. Man, what would be the first thing I would do, man? The first thing I would do with $1 million, man, I'd probably pay off my dad's house. That'd be the first thing I'd do, man. I'd probably pay off his house, let him go ahead and coast out into retirement with no bills. Make sure he's straight. The second thing I would do, man, is I'd be buying a real estate left and right, dude. I would be buying up real estate left and right, creating more partnerships that are fucking produce way more than $1,000 a week.
Yeah. See, the thing is though, you don't even gotta. It ain't even a dream, because it's coming soon. You finna have that $1 million liquid.
Oh, for sure.
You finna have $1 million liquid.
Yo,
That's already the goal anyway. So once you gonna hit it,
the million. Look, this is what it is, right? The $1 million already has my name on it. I just gotta go and collect it.
Fact.
I walk
mindset,
around.
bro.
If I have my wallet around, I show you. But I literally got a check in my wallet I carry on with $1 million on it.
Yeah.
Right, like with my name on it, like, yo, this is how I think. I had to reprogram my entire mind. You know what I'm saying? So the money is coming in abundantly, but it's not really about the money. It is about the money, but it's more about how many people can I help.
Yeah.
Right. The more I can provide in value than I receive in cash value, I would never ever have to worry about money. The more I provide in value than I receive in cash value, I would never ever have to worry about money. And I think a lot of people kind of get that confused because they put the money first, and they end up loving money and using people. Right? They love money, use people. You don't do that. Right? When you love money and use people, you become the servant. Right? Now we're talking for the love of money is the rule of all evil. Because you loving money and you're using people, meaning you're not operating in the best interest of the individuals that you're supposed to be serving, right? So you love people and use money. So with me understanding that, I know that if I provide more in value to Marlon and Alex, and if they do the same, then us three would never ever have to worry about money.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. I love it.
Right. I love that mindset so much. So sorry we deviated. Question number 4. If you could go back and change. No, you good, man. That was perfect. I love it. If you could go back and change anything about your journey, what would it be?
Nothing.
Live with no regrets, man. I love it. Even the 22-month rehab.
No, because I wouldn't have I learned so much. I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have now to go out and do. I got two rehabs going right now. So no, I wouldn't change it.
For sure.
Yeah. That's real. Last question then. Where can people find out more about you?
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at __ Mr. Marshall. Shoot me a DM. I reply to all DMs. My DMs are at 0. You can reach out to me there. You can also book a consultation on link in bio. And for those who are interested in acquiring properties, doing some form of renovation, I will be dropping a course called The Renovation Game next weekend, May 8th. So you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at _ Mr. Marshall, primarily on Instagram, not on Twitter as much, but feel free to reach out.
You're repping the merch too today.
Yeah, there y'all have it. This has been a dope episode, man. Mr. 30 for 30 himself. 30 for 30.
30 to 30.
Yeah. So we appreciate you coming on here, man. This was definitely a lot of fun, and it just to be able to see other people that are our age too, that are killing it, man. It warms my heart, man, because it's so good to see, man. Because it's like I really want a lot of people to really understand that this kind of stuff is attainable at whatever age you are, however you look, whatever your background is, and that's really what this podcast is all about. So you have definitely embodied that. So we appreciate you, man, coming on here.
And I appreciate y'all for having me, man. Power of Proximity. Met Marlon a week ago. Had a good time. We did our thing while he was out there. And Alex, man, you got to connect, man. So
yeah, that's a fact.
Dog. Like I'm flying. I'm flying. I'm traveling. Whatever. Next time you in Houston, both of y'all, what's up? Let me know.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Sure, man.
Got you. That's it for this episode of the Money Monopolizers podcast. New episodes will be released every Thursday and will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Money Monopolizers wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you learned something of value today, and if you did, we'd appreciate it if you rated us 5 stars and left us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can find out more info about us on Twitter at the Monopolizers or on IG at Money Monopolizers. We post informative content on there that's going to keep you engaged, so check that out and share those posts. But until then, we're out of here.
You've been listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. To learn more about how you can be in control of your money, visit moneymonopolizers.com. We'll catch you next time when Alex and Marlon share more personal finance and wealth creation tips with you. Now it's time to take action.